First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. Thanks for being with us here this afternoon. Well, if you're watching live anyway, if you're watching after the fact, that's great as well. You can find us on the Fox 12 Oregon apps, on whatever platform you're on, and of course at kptv.com under the Fox 12 Now tab. So plenty of places to go and watch our segments. And we cover a wide range of things on here if you've never seen us before, but this is actually a conversation that I had earlier today with Alan Page. Now, you may know the name Alan Page, but in case you don't, I just want to pull up some list of accomplishments from this, from our guest today. Yeah, NFL Hall of Famer, retired Minnesota Supreme Court Justice, Presidential Medal of Freedom winner, and the 1971, going back to the NFL side, the 1971 NFL MVP, the first defensive player to ever win it. The guy's done a lot of things, but in addition to that, he is one of the founders of the Page Education Foundation, which helps out, is a scholarship, this is what we talk about, helps people both with their careers in serving their communities, but service being that main thing that he focuses on. There's a lot that we go through in this. He also has a new book coming out, their 5th children's book that he wrote with his daughter. So plenty of things to discuss, but really just listening to him talk and talk about how he gives back after all of his accomplishments, pretty interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and roll with that right now. Retired Associate Minnesota Supreme Court Justice, Presidential Medal of Freedom winner, NFL MVP. I may have some NFL questions for you. NFL Hall of Famer. But I mean, all of that, though, coming up to this, the Page Education Foundation. And can you tell me, what it is about all these experiences in your life that led you to wanting to do this part in your life?
Sure. It begins back when I'm a child with parents who knew and understood the importance and value of a good education and made it clear to me and my siblings that if we were to have a better life, it was going to be through being educated. Along the way, I've had a great deal of good fortune. My late wife, Diane, she understood the importance and value of education. And we also both understood that for far too long, our communities of color have not thrived when it comes to academics. And in 1988, when I found out that I was going to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Diane and I sat down and said to each other, how can we make this more meaningful? How can we help others have the kind of success that we've had in life? And so we came up with the idea of a scholarship program. Our number 2 daughter, Georgiana, suggested that we add a service component. And that's what we did. And here we are all these years later, some 9,000 plus Page scholars. And those scholars have been changing the future from day one, making it better and brighter, not only for themselves, but for the children they serve and for the communities they live in.
I mean, it really is. It's iterative. Like each one of those people is in helping so many other people, and it just expands like that exponentially. I mean,
absolutely.
And when you think about something like that, I mean, I guess, well, number one, how does it feel to know that you've helped these other people make differences in their communities?
When I think about it, I think of the difference they make, not how it makes me feel. We have both, I think, particularly for those who have been privileged and who have been successful, we have not only the opportunity, but the obligation to help others. And so that's what we've done, not with an eye towards looking back and saying, oh, aren't we great for having done this, but with an eye towards look at what those young people have done, the changes they've made, and the future they've created, which is better for all of us.
Yeah. For just to talk on this just a little bit more, I mean, for that side of things, for people out there who maybe are part of this, but are in their own communities and want to help but aren't quite sure how to do that. What are some steps that you would recommend people do?
We all have the power, and I would recommend that people identify what their interests are, where they think they can make a difference, and then the most important thing they can do is act.
And go out there and do it.
Just do it. Absolutely.
Let's talk about the new book. I mean, I know this is, I think it's the fifth one. Is that right?
Book number 5.
Book number 5. Congratulations. That's a hurdle a lot of people don't get to. And but clearly, you're doing this because you love it, and also it's helping people out. And so let's let everybody know. Tell us about this new book.
Well, with my co-author daughter, Cami Page, we started 5 years ago. No, not 5 years ago, 5 books ago. Back in 2013, we came out with our first one, Alan and his perfectly pointy and possibly perpendicular pinky. And in case you're interested in Alan's perfectly pointy and possibly perpendicular pinky, there it is.
Well, there it is. It's not just a name of a book. Yeah.
No, the pinky lives. We started writing at Diane's suggestion because we're an education foundation, and she said I think it was our 30th anniversary, pardon me, for our 30th anniversary, we should do a children's book. Or actually, she said I should do a children's book. And I didn't know anything about writing children's books, but we had the good fortune to sit down with somebody who knew the process and what it entailed. And we came up with our first book. And it's been a lot of fun working with Cami, but it's also been a lot of fun sharing the book with young people, with people across the country, across Minnesota. And it's been a real challenging and interesting process and project. And this year's, and I should note, the entire proceeds from each book sold go to the Page Education Foundation to further its mission.
So the book is going to be out there, and people who buy it are going to be helping out the foundation, which is going to be helping out communities and helping out people to educate themselves.
Absolutely, and not only that, I'm biased, but it's actually a pretty touching book. I think a pretty nice book.
Yeah, can you let everybody know just a little, no spoilers, but the concept of the book?
Well, it's a book about love. It's a book about food. February is the month of love, if you will, and oftentimes surrounding food. It's about intergenerational connections between a grandfather and a granddaughter. It's about education and the value of literacy and the celebration of learning and readers. Reading is, we say it's fundamental, but it's more than fundamental. It is key and crucial to the education of young children. And because it allows us to explore our curiosity, it helps us learn. It helps us learn how to think. And there's just so much going on when you have a book in your hand, that having that, so much going on when, now I've lost my train of thought.
No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, that tactical, I don't know, there's something about having that, in your hand.
There's something about having a book in your hand that you can feel, that you touch, that you can turn the pages. And, these are children's picture books, and they're great. They're a great way for someone who's older to read to a young child. And they're an interesting, it makes for an interesting story. Our goal in in writing books is to do at least two things. One, put a smile on your face, and two, tug at your heart a little bit. And this one does both of those.
Wow. And for everybody out there, how can they go about getting a copy of this and contributing to what you're doing?
Well, they can go to the Page Education Foundation website, page-ed.org, and order it from there, or they can go to their local bookstore and see if they've got it. And if they don't have it, the bookstore is likely to be able to get it. And if all else fails, they can go to Amazon.com.
Last resort there. And then well, I guess let me ask you this. Do you have any more planned? I know that this one's out and we're just talking about this, but it's 5.
Book 6 is in the works, and we've got some thoughts about book 7.
I was going to say, you can't stop at 5. You got to keep going.
Oh, absolutely. One of for me, from a personal standpoint, it is a fun process that my daughter and I have, that we work through creating one of these books, or each of these books. We also have the good fortune to work with a local illustrator here in Minneapolis who is just phenomenal. And we've sort of formed a team, and when we can come together and produce books like this, only good things can happen.
That sounds like, just on that level of actually doing this, that sounds like a pretty fun process, working with your daughter and then an illustrator and who knows how to do it right, and just have fun and come up with something that's going to help people.
Absolutely. I mean, we say this a lot, but it really doesn't get much better than that. To be able to create something with your ideas and with your thoughts and with your words, and then turn it into a story that is accompanied by beautiful illustrations. It really doesn't get much better.
And then you see kids reading these and out there.
Well, you see kids reading them. You see parents reading to their children. You see, yesterday I was at one of the local elementary schools reading to a group of second graders. And for me, that's as much fun as being able to be the author of the book, is to share it with young children.
Wow. I mean, it's remarkable. And, and I think going back to what you were talking about there, it's helping people in their communities, and what the Page Education Foundation does there too is, giving some of these, some people maybe a chance they weren't going to have necessarily, or helping them along, and then they're helping that community, and in turn, and just going out there and caring.
Well, important to everybody's life is hope. And one of the things that one of the Page Foundation's motto is creating hope through education and service. Martin Luther King, and I'm going to paraphrase something he said, and essentially this: for people who have hope, they want to build the community around them and the society around them. For those who don't have hope, they tend to want to destroy it. And if we can create hope, we can change the future, making it better and brighter for all of us.
I don't know a better way to end it than on that. I mean, that's fantastic. Alan, thank you so much, for having some time to talk to me and sharing that. And you're absolutely right. And that's the perfect quote for that. But your foundation is doing that too, helping people out. So everybody heard how they can pick that up, and maybe get the back catalog as well, and look forward to 6 and 7 coming out.
I should mention one last thing.
Yeah, go for it.
There is a recipe in the book.
Ooh, where did the recipe come from?
It's one of our family favorites. Diane picked up a recipe, 35, 40 years ago. She was a market researcher, and a lot of her work surrounded food. One of the recipes she picked up was called Mississippi Mud, and it's basically butter sugar, and
Like it already.
and whipping cream with a little flour to hold that all together.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. I'm going to have to make that.
Absolutely, give it a try. It's wonderful.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Well, Alan, thank you so much. Oh, I forgot. I said that's at the beginning. I was going to ask you one football question. Who you
Sure.
got in the Super Bowl?
You know, I don't have a clue.
Me neither.
Hopefully, I hope it's a good game worth watching.
Yeah,
And with that, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter which team wins as long as it's a good one.
yeah. I want something enjoyable. Yeah, no blowouts or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right on. Well, Alan, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and it's really great to talk to you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All right, so an interesting story, Alan Page, and really appreciate him joining us here for Fox 12 Now. And like I said, we cover a wide range of topics here on this show. We get to have different conversations. Sometimes we do deeper dives on stories you see on our other news shows. Sometimes it's breaking news. This is also a great place for that too, between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. especially. This is where to go. We will send out an alert and we'll get you whatever that is, whatever it may be, as soon as possible and get that information out to you. And thanks everybody for joining us. Again, if you haven't already, I encourage you to download the apps. That's a great way to have that, and then you can get some more notifications as well, just letting you know and keeping you up to date with what is happening. But we'll sign off right now. Talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.